Alright, guys, what is your opinion on Firehaven's Glowl?
Yeah.
Growl?
Glowl.
You started with a. You said you were gonna start with a good one, and you started with a good one.
Yeah.
Owl is
Hey,
pretty
at
good.
least this is the best adult island for Glowl.
Oh, you're darn right.
It's true.
Growl is kind of meant to be background noise, and it fits that job pretty well, because at least it's not the other fire island that Growl is on.
I remember when Glowl was first released and people were like, what the frig, Glowl on Firehaven is like not yelling. Why is Glowl on Firehaven not yelling? And then like later down the road we were like, wait a minute, it's actually way better when it's not yelling.
That's
Yeah.
true. But at the same time, it depends on like how you define yelling, because like here's the thing: if it's yelling at the top of its lungs like Cave Island, that's when it's iffy. But if it's like doing its yelling like Continent, then that's Glow's best sound. So like this is a little under Continent, with it's a little too calm for Glowl, so it doesn't feel too much like Glowl. But at the same time, it like I normal Growl might not have even worked that well for the island anyways. So this is probably like the best case scenario.
Fair enough. Any input on Ryan, Pommy?
No.
You can go first.
No.
Growl is there.
When I first heard Growl sound in the Firehaven trailer, I thought it was gonna be Dan to do and to be like do. It's one thing when that's the only thing I think of when I think of Growl.
Yeah, but if
Not
Glowl was Dandy that means Dandy or if Dandy was Glowl, that would mean Glowl would have to be Dandy and
not
then
necessarily.
we'd have screaming Furcorn.
Speaking of Furcorn, let's talk about Furcorn on this island, aka
Dandy
Dandy. Yeah, sure. They do kind of sucks on this island.
Dandy kind of sucks. Yeah.
That's status quo. I mean, Dandy doing Furcorn's part is like, I understand what they're going for, but I also don't really understand why it's like, bro, what if it was Plant Island again?
Yeah. Another thing with it is that I get what they were doing, but also, like, it works, I guess. But I personally would have preferred if Danzidu had its voice sound more like probably his best island, Earth Island, to have it be like do 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 do. But instead they make it go for a lot more of a shrill voice. And in general, I don't think monsters work well with a shrill voice.
Not a lot.
Unless you're Yelmet, which isn't even shrill.
No, listen, my favorite part about Dandy is the the highest note it does hurts my ears.
Dude, it's literally just screaming at that
Because it
point.
goes do 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 do.
Glow's not. Okay. Dandidu is okay, but also not really.
It should have been more.
Firehaven probably could have been a lot better if they thought of something completely new for that verse instead of just having it be what we got.
Nah, you know what?
Right now, but it could have been better.
Dude, you know what I just realized? And I think we should talk about this monster next. Now that we're doing Firehaven, it means we can talk about the fire monsters, which means this is the first chance we get to talk about Flower.
I thought you were gonna say Kena.
Nah.
Flower on this island is the exact same as Flower on every other island ever except Continent.
Which is nothing.
I love Hookah Chew, and I loved it when they did it again, and I loved it when they did it again, and I loved it when they did it again.
It's not bad, and it does its job, but it's kind of boring that they do the same thing again and again.
The only island I think the Hookah like actually works on is Cave Island. Every other island where he plays, he's literally nothing.
Dude, because Cave Island is the only one where, like, bro, what if it's a What if it's an aggressive hooga chew, and the other one she's like, "Hoo ga choo ga, I'm pumping to the beat." I'm like, no, bro,
Yeah,
that's not.
on every other
Whispering it.
island, his Huga Chew is just intro fodder.
It
Like,
really
you could
is.
say
Except for
psychic,
Psychic
but
Island.
inside. Okay, what verse does he play in Psychic? The intro verse again when it comes back.
Ah, you're right. And then
A lot better on Cave when he's not intro fodder, or on Continent when he doesn't go Huga Chew.
Imagine if he was
One
in the intro though, and he was like pitched like in the Dawn of
trailer.
Fire trailer.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the I don't think that would work for Firehaven. I don't think that would work for intros. Actually, nah, I feel like it doesn't work as a direct intro. But I
Makes
do
sense.
think in general, if instead of having him be in the intro, they put him somewhere else in the song and made him something different. It doesn't even have to trailer, just
Well, he
any
does play again in the song. He plays
When literally every monster on the island is
he
playing.
plays when Flugel starts coming in again.
I'm just saying in general that they could have handled Flower better.
You know who
But
else does nothing in the song and also only plays in one verse?
Flower,
I was gonna
who
say
The
I was gonna say
Flower 2.
Barb, yeah.
Yeah, Flower 2.
I love it when the double element plays more and then the triple element.
Bro,
And they're the same thing.
I'm not a fan of Barb as a monster, honestly. I've
Me
never
neither.
really liked
bro, you can't say that. The whole
because
community likes Barb for some reason.
Hey, community, you're
people like
wrong.
Barb, and I get why they like Barb, but also I think objectively speaking, Barb historically has not done as much in songs as Flower has done. So I like Flower more, and I don't think it's a good idea to have both of them. So I'd have to pick Flower over Barb, meaning I don't
Yeah,
like
me
Barb.
too. Here's the thing. Flowers got like 2 islands where he's pretty top tier, honestly, in the verses he plays. Uh Barb has never been good. And
Barb's
Yeah.
not meant to
Firehaven
be
just
good.
perpetuates that. Barb on
So
Firehaven is probably Barb's best island, but it's like not saying much at all.
yeah, like basically, here's what happens with Barb. Usually it ends up being a secondary thing, but even then, like on its first island continent, it's a secondary thing, except not really, because Thrumble's a secondary, so it just does nothing. And then on Cave Island, it's also nothing because it plays in the verse with
It's
everything
not
else.
the secondary, it's like
And then,
the pentiary.
and then you get Firehaven, which is Barb's third island and only other island it's gonna get for a long time, and it does just as much nothing as it usually does, just being tertiary.
Barb is literally the one monster that I never actively try to listen for because what's the point?
Yeah. But speaking of monsters that you should be actively listening for, let's talk about the most important monster in the song, Shring.
Ugh.
Dude, I've been preparing Shrink because I want to defend him for one reason.
Why?
I can't in good conscience say that he's bad because he does exactly what he's supposed to do. At minimum, I think it's a little underwhelming.
I don't think. See, with Shring, like I agree with you. He does his job on the island, and it's not really his fault. It's Dawn of Fire's fault because Dawn of Fire definitely was not optimized with MSM1 in mind, and that's why we have Tring being a quad, simply because like because in Dawn of Fire quads aren't as important
Right.
and essential as they are in MSM1. So it's not Tring's fault. He just happened to be the monster with the elements they wanted.
It's a shame, really.
Tring only plays in the from
Rest of the
Flugel
song.
to the end of the song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think he starts in Tweedle.
I
Doesn't
maybe
matter really.
because I also don't listen to him because he does
It's a
literally
nice
nothing.
flourish, but that's pretty much the only thing he has.
It's a nice Scargo on Woblin Island. That's what it is.
Yeah, but again, Scargo on Mobile Island ain't bad.
Here's the thing. I get Tring on Firehaven, and I'm like, Bro, yes, I got Tring because he gives me money.
Bro, yes.
See, one of the things with Tring that to keep in mind, if you're looking at everything from the big picture, you can't blame Tring because you know he can't do much. Okay, I don't think a single person found out, oh, he's a triangle monster and expected something crazy like a triangle solo. He was gonna do nothing. Everyone expected it the second they knew it was a triangle. But also, if you're a new player to MSM and you don't know about Dawn of Fire, it I can under like I haven't gone through it because I've been a fan from way before. But for a new fan, that would be very underwhelming to have the final big monster you get just be a basic sound that does nothing to the song compared to other monsters where they usually are like a big changer for how you feel about the song.
True.
You know what makes me mad?
What?
But
Is when Firehaven came out, and then people got Tring, and then they had the fucking audacity for some reason to be like, "Yo, I don't know about you, but Tring really adds to the song. You gotta get him." And I'm like, "Brain dead, you? I don't think so. That's sugarcoating to the maximum. No, he does not."
if you want to say, hey, I think String's all right in the song, that's fair because he is all right in the song. And if you want to say, oh, it's not like wait, if you want to say, oh, I don't want to hate on Tring, that's also fair because no reason to hate on Tring. He doesn't really do anything bad. But at the same time, I think you kind of have to accept Tring doesn't do a lot in the song because he's not supposed to do a lot. He doesn't do anything wrong. He just doesn't do anything.
You know, the biggest compliment I can give to Tring is
But
His rare
at
form is fun.
no, I was gonna say that, but I think it's cool that he plays on beat 3 as opposed to beat 1. I think that makes it a little better in this island.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like it when the
um,
triangle plays not on beat 1.
you know, with a lot of monsters, we haven't really brought up the design that much because this thing is mostly about songs. But Tring, I gotta say, has a really exceptional and creative design. Like
Yeah.
people don't talk about it that much, but like it's no like when you think of Dawn of Fire, you wouldn't expect them to just straight up do a Minotaur, but they did, and they made it really cool, especially with all his like tribal markings and giant, super detailed crystals on
The
his
only
back.
issue with the design is that when he was released, it paved way to all of those freaking comments saying, honestly, I think a way to improve Tring is to have the crystals on his back play electric
Mm-mm.
drums and stuff.
Yeah, I love Syncopate.
Yeah, trust me, I went onto Tring's individual sound video, and literally, like, I read 7 different comments that said the crystal should have done something.
Okay, to be fair, they have a point though, because when the main purpose of the monster and like its whole design aspect alone is, bro, giant thing with crystals on its back, you're like, oh, so something's gonna do with the crystals and it's gonna be cool. And it's nah, bro. He just flings the thing in his nose.
Well,
Okay,
yeah,
to be
it's just
fair though,
juxtaposition.
that's literally the entire point of Tring. He's anti Furcorn. Furcorn's a tiny, tiny monster. You can fit him under your fingernail, and then he's a super loud, beautiful voice. And Tring is this big, muscular thing that looks like if it poked you, it would be like 20 megalodons punching you. And then he's just a ding. Honestly, in that sense, I feel like if they made Tring play less than like tr- to be see with this song, it's different. But for Dawn of Fire, they did a good job of establishing Tring as just being that because he plays a lot less often,
Okay,
which is a good
then
thing.
uh, hint me this, riddle me this. If they know that Tring is meant to kind of be insignificant, then why make it one of the bosses on the Fire Islands?
I don't understand that. Actually, I do understand that. This is insider information that most people don't really know. But see, the fire monsters, BB has said this before, but the fire monsters were planned for a long time actually. Like when they originally made MSM1, when the first game, they made it, and during development, they thought about the fire element, but it would be too much for the main game because, at the time, they didn't know that this game would be such a massive success. So they went through the game and they just had those fire monsters on the back burner, and one of the monsters had the elements of air, plant, earth, and fire, and that was like that was supposed to be the big main quad for all of Fire Monsters at the time when it was made, and that monster was Candelabra.
Yeah.
And then after they made Dawn of Fire, they decided to upgrade Candelabra to be basically a boss, like basically this big important monster, but to Fire Monsters, so it had to be a Quint instead. And then Tring got Candelabra's elements, so the island makes perfect sense. The main issue with the island isn't like saying, "Oh, they shouldn't have used Tring." It's more so from the get go. Tring shouldn't really have gotten his elements, and they should have. Well, even then, Tring was made way before the Fire Islands, so it's more so just a. They kind of had to do the Tring's island simply because like that's the classic ideal island for them. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's just a it's bad timing, bad events.
It was
Things
poor
didn't go out
planning
as
on
they
their end.
expected. Yeah, poor planning, but at the same time, they couldn't really foresee that they would use that.
Touche. Well, that was a very, very long time spent on Tring.
Well, speaking honestly, earlier you were saying that Tring should have used his back to be electronic drums to be syncopite. So let's talk about the syncopite of this island, Repetillo.
Ah, dude.
Repetillo hit the beat.
I love Repetillo on this island. I love
Dude,
Repetillo in general.
he does.
I like Marcelo.
Repetillo, like, okay, so the fucking percussion on this island in general is kind of good. I'm trying to think of what it all is because there's Noggin, Repetillo, Shrub. Repetillo
true.
kind of carries in terms of percussion, and that's a good thing when it's for a song like this. The two tracks thing, it's a cool idea, but when one of the tracks is, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I liked the use of it as a really good build-up, and just to make the impact of the other track coming in and being the big climactic verse of the song, like you really feel that impact. And that's what they were going for, and I like it. But at the same time, I feel like the two tracks also like are a bit too simplistic. Like Repetillo just says tuk, tss, tuk, tuk, tss, tuk, tss, tuk, tuk, tss. And like that's a good bass, but they should have added some like variations throughout it to make it feel more unique and not like a drum loop.
Yeah.
Its second track is fine. It's Repetillo being Repetillo.
Like, I think more so it's something like duk, tss, duk, duk, tss, duk, duk, tss, and then it's just pitter patter on the One Island by TME. That's just what I think. I think like if there's not really much ways to improve the main percussion on the island, but that's the only way I could think to do it.
Repetillo's just kind of fine on Firehaven. It's not his best island, but he definitely is probably the best percussion on that Firehaven.
Not probably, just 100% definitely, because competition
Nah,
is
dude,
not.
I don't know what you mean. Shrub be carrying that opening verse.
He can't even. Here's the thing: he's trying to carry, but he can't because he's busy extending his legs all the way, so his knees buckle.
Yo, let's talk about Shrub.
Ugh, 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 ugh.
Shrub does
I don't
nothing.
Shrub, he does nothing, but at the same time, he does nothing while also being mixed horribly loudly for some reason.
Well, yeah, dude, you want it? You gotta hear that sick beatboxing, not actually beatboxing skills.
Bro, how about no? Because Noggin is also playing in that verse.
Almost never like you notice Shrub, but you don't notice Shrub. Like I think they did Shrub like they should have mixed them quieter, but in general they didn't do Shrub wrong. But also they didn't do Shrub right because there really isn't many good examples of doing Shrub right.
Dude,
I can't imagine a way. Okay, I don't think there's a possible way to do Shrub right on this island. Like,
I mean, there's a way to do it better than how it is on Firehaven.
Yeah.
Talking about Firehaven specifically, though, like how could they improve Shrub on Firehaven besides mixing?
No,
They
dude.
don't.
Yeah, you have them play throughout the entire song.
Oh, dude.
So basically,
them
some
call.
background noise.
Yeah.
I feel like Shrub is fine as he is just intro and outro fodder. And like I feel like the only way to improve him is to downcut Repetillo. And I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's not a good trade at all.
So they did the best they could with Shrub. But speaking of monsters that are really loud, let's talk about Kana.
Oh man. Honestly,
Talk about a fall from grace.
Kana's track record in MSM is pretty good, but Firehaven is like a really bad splotch on that track record. Because Kana on Firehaven kind of sound an ass, not gonna lie.
I remember when Firehaven first came out, and then I was like, my initial opinions were on it were like, wow, this kind of sucks, because the mixing was awful from Kana and Shrub, and then everyone thought I was some person who was some negative Nancy who like didn't like any of the updates. I'm like, no, this island just sucks when it first came out. And then I'm like, wait, what if I just turned down Kana? And then wow, would you look at that? The song became 40 quintillion times better.
Yeah, Kana is way too loud for no need. There's no good reason for it. It just is. And they also they definitely, the biggest thing they did that dropped the ball and really set it rolling to Kana's downfall is just dropping the bum.
Yeah.
Because that was like Kana's thing, the bum ba da da dum. Like it's easy to imagine just saying bum ba da da dum. It wouldn't be hard at all to do that, but they just didn't for some reason, and then just made Kana da instead.
Slowly became female by sonorous.
Yeah.
Even then, like the composition of Kana itself is so fucking boring for Kana standards, because it's just da 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 da.
I
Like,
love
wow, how
when
interesting.
the monster that has like really, really, really good note range plays the exact same note until the final like 2 bars.
Yeah. And then the performance isn't that great either. Like it feels like it's especially at the ending when there's dum 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 dum. It almost feels like they purposely went like dum 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 right after each one. And I don't know what led to that, but it just feels like that, and it's weird.
Can't believe we have to have Kana on like every other island going forward. I wonder how long it'll take before we eventually just get burnt out.
To be fair, if my theory is correct, there should only be 2 more Kanas, and then we're set for life.
We don't need any more Kana.
We're set free. But you know what's a monster we'll never be set free of?
Who?
For these at least, I think it's time we rip off the band-aid and talk about the dipsters.
The dipsters are fucking ass.
Dude, this actually might be Dipster's worst island.
Not even might be. This is 100%. They literally do nothing whatsoever. It's like what? It's like if they were like, "Hey, you know the first half of Kana's track? What if we only did that?" People know over and over again, and like it feels like just an annoying kid tapping on your shoulder saying, "Am I bothering you? Am I bothering you? Am I bothering you? Am I bothering you?"
No, okay, hold on. Remember last video when we were talking about Cold Island and how dipsters in the opening were really bad because they were like hitting random notes? Imagine if Dipster's entire track was that, and that's Firehaven.
Yeah. Bro, okay, there's like everything, literally everything wrong with the dipsters. It plays in the crowded parts. Its composition is the worst thing in the entire game. And okay, so here's the thing. The composition is like on par with Magpie because it's
Uh,
like, bro, what if
at
it's
least Magpie plays more than 2 notes.
that's yeah, you're right. But then you listen to Dipsters and like you don't even know what they were trying to go for. It's just chords that don't mix with chords.
I think the issue with Dipsters on Firehaven is that Firehaven's a very simple song to listen to, but if they were going to put Dipsters on it, they had to use all 7 Dipsters, and they'd have to make all 7 Dipsters worth getting. So they were forced to use more complicated melodies than the island was designed to have.
It's like the worst part is it's not like they were forced to put dipsters on these islands. This was
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
Fire Island dipsters. They had literally zero incentive to put dipsters here. That no one was expecting it, but they did it anyways.
Your
They chose
cancerous growth.
I I kind of liked them, like for 1 second, but then I didn't.
Their design is the only good thing about Dipsters.
Here's another thing about Firehaven dipsters that since it lasted for like a month, it's worth mentioning. It's the fact that not only
The
were
glitch.
they the worst dipsters in the game, that was the time BB decided to just forget how to code and make it so they don't even say dip, they say dip.
Like half.
Dude, listen, whenever they did dip, it was kind of better than the full dip because here's the thing. That's like 1 millisecond less of dipster that you have to hear.
Okay, actually, I think I thought of the best way to describe dipsters. Okay, so it's like that one part of Bedlam Island where Mystery Meat and the Second Coming are going insane, and then the dipster's like, "Bro, yeah, I'm bopping my head to that. Let's do that."
You know
like,
what?
I'm just glad no one has to re-record the dipsters, and they just are like notes that people just have to use. Because if people had to record the dipsters themselves and remake those sounds every single time, it would
Yeah.
just the SpongeBob thing with when Patrick wrote a song and then the people who sang the song died after singing it.
Listen, I feel like this isn't a necessary thing to mention, but I want to mention it anyway. You know the dipsters on Firehaven are bad when a random community member made way, way, way better dipsters for that one Firehaven collab that Mofix did. The person, if you're ever watching this, congratulations. You did BBB's job better than them.
Okay, honestly, congratulations, but also you don't get any props because dipsters are one of the easiest monsters to work with ever. They are literally just notes on a staff, and there's no possible way to mess it up unless you do literally the same note over and over and over again. And that's what BBB did.
Yeah. Oh man. Hey, alright, this is a good transition. You know what my least favorite thing about dipsters are?
But
Is that it also brought upon the other worst monster?
No, we're not talking about that
Yeah.
yet. We're saving that for the end. Nah, it's
Okay.
the fact that they cover up literally my second favorite monster in all of MSM, which is Flugel.
You mean they cover up the entire everything?
Flugel, my man. I love Flugel.
Okay. This is probably controversial, but in my opinion, this is Flugel's best island because it's like the composition is cool, and some of the compositions on the other islands may be better, but this it's a perfect example of MSM doing MSM right, where the monsters' compositions somehow perfectly fit into an exact mold of their personality, and they're just hearing their sound, you can tell exactly what kind of personality they have, and like with Flugel, it was hard to tell what kind of personality he had because on Continent he was good but basic, and on Cave he was really dark, which was out of nowhere. But on this, it's like a happy-go-lucky party, and he's having the time of his life. And perfect MSM feeling. It's like, bro, yeah, I'm gonna vibe with this Flugel over here because he's having a good time.
I love Flugel.
Flugel's probably the best monster on this island.
Yeah.
Well, that's not surprising. Flugel is like a really, really good monster.
Okay, but let's talk about Flugel's competition for the best monster on this island, Stog.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, that's right. Stog's on this island.
Stog on this island is really good because Stog is a really good monster. It's hard to make him bad, but as you guys have pointed out to me in the past, this started the trend of Stog just kind of being cord fodder.
Be fair, he hasn't really done much in the past.
Okay, there's one thing I will say about Stog on this island is that I get what he's cord fodder. He's like dead air filler, but I really wish they would have done more with it because like there's like, oh bro, let's just make it to where he's just playing the low notes and it's just the chords, but then it's like, nah bro, you gotta do what he did on the other islands where it's like, let's have him play the chords but also other stuff randomly jittering throughout his sound, and it's like, bro, he kind of does something.
Yeah.
Kind of like Fairy Island, big example.
Oh man.
They can do him right. It's just they do him a little less right on certain things.
But that doesn't detract much
You
from
can't-
Stog because Stog still is just a really fun monster.
Yeah.
Stog is definitely, in my opinion, the second best monster because you can't beat Flugel with Stog, but you can beat everyone else with Stog.
Touche.
You know who definitely cannot beat Stog in any way, shape, or form?
Tweedle.
Icon out here.
Oh, Ryan's Reedling.
Oh, yeah, Reedling.
Guys, no, it
Reedling was
playing
on
a
that
sour
island?
note adds personality. Trust me.
Exact opposite of like I went on about how that perfectly encapsulates Flugel's. His sound just feels like a Flugel sound. It gives Flugel a perfect personality. That's how you do personality. Having an off note doesn't give personality. It's just a poorly composed song.
I remember when Flugel on Fire Haven came out, and that was, I'm pretty sure it was after Flugel on Cloud as well. Correct me if
Flugel
I'm
on
wrong.
Cloud.
Or, yeah.
Also, no,
Oh, Flugel, Reedling, sorry.
I think it was it was either right before or right after.
Yeah, anyway, those two islands came out, and everyone was talking about, oh man, it's adorable that Flugel misses the note, and I was in a call with Ryan, and Ryan went on like a 30-minute rant on why that's the worst idea in the universe.
Well, yeah, because it ruins the entire point of why the monsters are musical. If they're like, oh, bro, they're all this talented symphony of monsters that all do the right thing. It's like, bro, this is amazing. And then you have a monster like nah, bro, let me be a sixth grader playing on the recorder, and then and then with missed notes. It's like, no, you're not. No, stop. You're not being what the game is designed to be.
You're
just
failing at your
a
one
waste of my
task in
life
life.
sources.
All right, but for the sake of criticism, let's talk about I keep saying Flugel. Let's talk about Reedling. Sans the last sour note, like just the rest of the composition
Boring,
in general.
very boring and very boring.
Yeah, it's boring, but it's also Reedling, and that's kind of
Be
Reedling's
honest
job.
though, Reedling, probably one of the most overrated monsters out there.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna tick a couple people off with this, but Reedling isn't that great.
Reedling does cool stuff sometimes, but here's the thing: what sometimes, and I feel like Reedling and everyone says like, "Oh yeah, they do cool stuff," and then okay, name me a good example of Reedling doing something cool.
The only thing that comes to mind is Tribal Island, which Tribal Island.
Wow, Tribal Island, it just plays the chords but
Reedling
arpeggiated.
only-
How cool.
Okay, here's the thing.
That's the most unique thing Reedling can do.
Literally,
Did the same thing on
literally.
Gold.
No, here's the thing. It's not even unique, Seth. Because guess what? Gold Island Reedling is the exact same thing.
I don't even remember what it does when called.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Tribal Island, he does da 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 da. On Gold Island, he does da 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 da.
Oh,
So
right. I
slower.
completely forgot.
Yeah, so it's just the same thing but slower. And you know why it's the same thing but slower? Because on Travel Island, that's the island where everything is double speed. So
Yeah.
basically, exact same thing. And then the only good island for Reedling where it's not really boring is Earth Island, and that's because he just Courser, which is the best monster in the entire game.
Hey, we'll get to Earth Island eventually. Except
yeah,
for the
Reedling.
fact that it might take a while because Weirdos.
Yeah, but anyways, the point is, Reedling on this island is Reedling, except worse because he's an off note. So he's boring.
Reedling's best is middling, and its worst is literally
You
off
know.
key.
Yeah, and that's why Reedling sucks on this island. He's not.
Alright,
I don't know.
you know who else I personally think sucks on this island? I don't know if who else agrees with me, but personally speaking, I hate Potbelly on this island.
What does he do again? Because I don't
It's just
remember.
bop,
Bop,
shigabop,
shigabop.
shigabop, shigabop, bop.
Oh yeah,
Multiply it
idea
by
of getting a
500.
For me, okay, for a lot of people, they're like fine with making monsters seeing different things on different islands, and like it depends on the situation. With Mammoth doing Hey Yo and Enbrad doing Hey Yo that one time, those times are cool because they're very obvious one-offs and they're very unique. But when it's something like Potbelly, where it's the exact same thing but adding a random thing to it that wasn't there before, like Shiga, I really just don't like it.
I
It
just
didn't
hate
even need to be a sugar because they could easily just do the same thing by going bop, ba da da, ba da da, ba da da, but well,
I just
easily.
hate how repetitive it is.
Yeah, with Firehaven, a lot of monsters are just repeating the same note over and over again.
And it's not even interesting repetition. It's just this. I'm pretty sure its entire bar, like the first 4 bars, is this entire loop, and it just loops that like 400 times throughout the song. In the opening, it's not as bad because you got like the other guys playing it, but in the ending of the song, it's really insufferable because it's just annoying.
Bro, did you say Potbelly at the end of the song?
Does he not play?
Here's a Potbelly. This is gonna be the Dandy Do rant all over again because Potbelly. Guess who else is off key?
Oh boy! Oh right,
Pot.
yo Ryan.
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt this. I have a tendency to say things without thinking. Uh, that reminds me that you told me once that the opening of the song and the ending of the song are not in the same key.
Yeah, it's reverse Cold Island. So pretty much the beginning of the song, since it's like wanting to be Plant Island, it's like, bro, what if it's in a minor key? I think it's C minor, exact same as Plant Island. And then they're like, hold on, bro, let me hit you up with the key change into a major song, E flat major, I think. And it's like, yo, and then let's have Potbelly play the same thing in a new key. And guess what? It doesn't work at all.
Difference is with Dandidoo, nothing else plays there. In this, Cybop plays there.
Yeah, Cybop, and it also plays during the everything verse with Flugel. So you have Potbelly with Flugel and Kana and Cybop and Tweedle and Glow, and it's like, whoa, back your roll, you're sucking right now.
Potbelly, yeah.
I'm glad you
Potbelly.
guys agree with me on the fact that Potbelly sucks on this island.
Okay, yeah,
Gotta
definitely.
specify that because Potbelly is not a bad monster.
I don't like returning back to like rolling back a little bit with Potbelly and like the sugar thing. I think that's a really good just point in general is saying, can the sound function without that? And it easily can. He does not need the sugar. He can easily function without the sugar. And then like with Mammoth on air, he can do boom. It works as Ayo, but with Potbelly, sugar doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that's like Potbelly just is bad decisions upon bad decisions upon bad decisions. But at least it's not Tweedle.
Oh, Tweedle.
Tweedle.
La,
Dude,
la,
I
la,
can't
la,
wait until we get like an actual good Tweedle because I don't like being mean to
And
Tweedle.
when
I'll
listen,
think of
here's the
one.
thing. Here's the thing.
Cloud Island.
Tweedle's no.
I like Tweedle. I like Tweedle and Cloud.
Okay. The problem with Tweedle on Fly Around is that it's Tweedle on Gold Island, and Tweedle on Gold Island is the worst Tweedle.
Well, neither of those Tweedles are Tweedle and Firehaven, so let's get back on track.
Anyways, okay, Firehaven Tweedle. You can really tell they changed the voice actor.
Yeah. Not for the better.
Nope.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting what Tweedle does.
La 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 la.
Oh, right. The
la.
off-key thing. Right.
Listen, Tweedle's thing is so sudden and something I don't like so much that literally, when the Firehaven trailer aired, I was a solid believer that wasn't Tweedle because it just sounds so wrong. I was like, huh, maybe they did something different with Dandidu or Glowl. Actually, I thought it was Glowl. I was like, huh, they did something different with Glowl, and I was excited for that. And I thought it was Tweedle. I was like, oh wow, they just made Tweedle even less enjoyable somehow.
Somehow.
Untweedle.
We are anti-Tweedle Club.
Whoa.
Anti-Tweedle rights.
So okay, we've been talking about how much Tweedle sucks, but let's explain the problem with Tweedle.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
And it also ruins Tweedle's gimmick of it likes to harmonize with itself on every other island until they were like, bro, let's just have it be not that, and it's just the melody for some reason.
It's the melody for a solid like half a verse before everything else drowns it out.
Yeah.
Tweedle is like that one monster that's supposed to only do the chords, and it works as a single element. So you get it early on, and you get a sense of the chords, and it's not a wasted monster because it's only a single element.
Yeah. And they were like, nah, bro, that's Glowl's job.
But
Bro,
You know,
all the
this-
single elements suck on this island.
what do you mean? What about Noggin?
Noggin
Wow,
doesn't suck, he's
Noggin.
just Noggin.
Dude, nah. The newer islands with Noggin, I fucking hate them because, like, bro, the thing with Noggin is that he's a simple drum beat that you, like, jam to. But then on every island past Space Island, they're like, dude, what if we just make him, like, a rapid beat that's indescribably hard to follow? And you're like, what? This is not a single element job.
See, the problem with it's not about him doing fast because he can do fast like on Tribal or on Space Island. But when he does fast, he does a really simple rhythm that you can easily follow. Just going, oh, da 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 da. But then you just get like, I can't remember Noggin on the sound at all because it's just, what am I supposed to be doing with it?
Yeah, I think
Noggin on this island just dun 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 dun.
I
It was
think
just
to combine your 2 points, I think that you perfectly described how I feel about Noggin, because Noggin was memorable because all of his patterns were memorable. I mean, anyone who's played MSM can beat the rhythm of Plant Island. You go to Air Island, same thing, but that's besides the point. You go to Water Island, you go to Earth Island. Earth Island's not that hard to remember anyway. But yeah, someone.
I don't think Earth counts.
Yeah, okay, fine. But if you say, hey, bro, can you do me Noggin's rhythm on Firehaven? They're gonna be like,
Yeah, and that's not a single element job.
If you want to do Noggin complex, do Party Island, where it has a various rhythm slow, so you can follow it. So do 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 do.
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Well,
Oh hey, Ryan, how does it make you feel that this is the first time we get to talk about TheCybop?
It makes me damn happy because this might be TheCybop's best island.
Nice. I love
I
TheCybop on.
love TheCybop on this island.
Well, you love TheCybop in general, you TheCybop guy.
Yeah, I'm out here
Cybop kitty.
with the Readling profile picture.
I think TheCybop is cool. But also, personally speaking, I wouldn't consider this his best island, but it is a respectable addition. And it's definitely
a damn good
okay.
one.
This was 100% necessary for this to happen, though, because we needed something to wash the taste out of our mouths from Dawn of Fire TheCybop.
Ugh, You're right.
Wait, I
is
didn't realize that came out afterwards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did Cybok perfectly, and they were like, what were we doing again?
Dude, TypeUp works so perfectly on this. I'm like, fuck.
Oh, he's the perfect outro monster. Now let's talk about the perfect anti-outro monster.
Dude, wait,
Is
hold
it
on.
that time already?
We only spent like 2 minutes on Cybop.
Okay, fine. Okay, what else is there to say about Sapop? He's done perfectly.
I love the way. Alright, so there have been times in the past where Cybop's voice effect thing, the way it's like, I don't know what it's called.
Articulated?
Yeah. It doesn't work well in the context of the song, like on Continent specifically. I know that's after this, but the raspy mechanical tone really doesn't work in the soft kind of open upbeat, oh come on, we gotta get hyped up again. It's just kind of clashes against the mood of the song, but I think it actually surprisingly works really well in this one, and I don't know why. It
The
just
thing with
Okay. Okay.
adds a
So,
lot.
okay, I'm not gonna be moving on to the next monster yet, but I'm gonna be discussing its trailer because in the Feast Timber trailer, like Sabop, I don't know what. Listen, there's something so just like it's like scratch. It's like getting a scratch behind your ear. It's like, oh, that scratch has been itching me all day, and I just want to get it out. And you just get that nice scratch from hearing his voice. And it's the perfect example of that is in the Gobbledygook trailer when Cybop just like gasps. I don't know. That's just so perfect sounding. Like it was just generic gasp. They straight up worked hard to put the effects onto the gasp, and it's so satisfying. And like that's not I get that's not part of the song, but it's part of the album. So fuck you.
It's just a part of how good Cybop is in general.
They
And
got effects down to the T.
another thing that really works for Cybop here is the fact that unlike Potbelly, because Abed was talking earlier about how Potbelly has this one thing it does, and when it doesn't do it, it's kind of off-putting. This is one of the examples where the fact that Cybop has no set like vocal vocal preference really aids to its diversity as a monster.
Yeah. Cybop is made to be a scatter, and scatter's most important abilities are just being able to do different stuff at different times depending on the situation.
Like, imagine if Cybop had to do Air Island. Cybop on this island.
Yeah. With Cybop in the island, like it comes out in the end. It's like, okay, that climax of the song is kind of packed, and not that great. But like it's not that great because it's so packed and because Potbelly plays. But it's perfect. It does a great job of introducing Cybop and then leading into the great outro of just Cybop and Potbelly and Noggin and Shrub.
Yeah.
Just a nice outro to the song, and it perfectly loops afterwards too.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's been a lot of ups and downs with Firehaven. Even with the dipsters, I think I can enjoy this island.
Gobbly gobbly gob.
But what if I told you that there was some dastardly storm that struck the nation and then it brought forth a stain upon our moral beings and our perceptions on Firehaven, and it had the name of Gobbledygook.
Gobbledygook on Firehaven. I'm not saying Gobbledygook's a bad monster, but on Firehaven specifically, it is literally the perfect culmination of everything wrong with MSM. Like, hey, what's the major problem with Firehaven? Oh, I'm not feeling that mixing. Hey, what if this monster is 10 times louder than Kana? Hey, bro, I gotta be honest, like, they shouldn't be like saying more whack words. They should just say words that fit the theme of the song. How about gobbly gobbly ga? And also, what's the song? I thought I could just say random things into the mic. And then also, what does rhythm mean? And also, what does make it coming in at a point in the song where it makes sense and not making the outro of the song feel like a bridge that leads to nothing.
Hey,
Gobblegourd is like dipsters because they do absolutely nothing. But also, you can ignore the dipsters. You can't ignore Gobblegourd because it's like, okay, dipsters are the annoying child. Like, okay, dipsters are more so like the kid behind you in the airport like kicks your seat, and eventually you're just like watching the movie, put on your headphones, you ignore it. Gobblegourd is like the mother of that kid who like gets mad at you because you're not entertaining the kid. So they put a megaphone they pack for some reason, put it in your ear, and scream at the top of their lungs.
Dude, I don't even know what to say about Gobbledygook because I don't want to talk about Gobbledygook.
I
It's
want to
so
talk about Gobbledygook, just not on Firehaven because it's so bad. It's
Listen,
I
starting
didn't
with the
think
pod.
Mag people have competition.
I don't want to go that far.
I'm just saying, I didn't think it was remotely possible for Magpie to ever in a million years get competition. And Gobblerhaven proved to me that, that harsh, awful reality is not as far away from me as I thought it would be.
You know what is something that Magpie does better than Gobbledygook?
Have a good track on an island,
Do
or have a
something.
serviceable track on an island.
But not. Here's the thing. Magpie at least doesn't sound like it was recorded on an iPod 1.
That's true. Gobbledygook, I'm not even saying that's like it's not even. It sounds like it. I'm 100% positive that it was recorded on like some stupid built-in laptop mic.
That reminds me, another issue I had with Gobbledygook is we already talked about how what it says is bad and like the way the rhythm it plays is bad. But whoever voice acted it, I don't know who voice acted it, but they did a really, really, really bad job of voice acting it.
Yeah, and like you can tell how pitch shifted it is.
It's like half the first part is like really raspy because for some reason it's trying to be quiet, which is weird because the sound is 10 times louder than everything else.
Sounds like
It
it was
almost sounds
recorded.
like it's trying to muster a whisper, and then all of a sudden at the end it's like, nah, bro, what if we're like, woo?
Here's what happens, okay? This is what happens when you're using your laptop at 4 in the morning and you want to record a part and you just don't want to wake up your parents. So you're drunk, like to the point like you should have passed out 7 hours ago.
I don't know why, but you saying also you're drunk made me choke on my water.
Another thing, okay, I'm pretty sure I never like watched the episode, but in MSM Live they revealed who voiced Gobbledygook, and I feel like it was a monster handler, Michael. I think it might have been him. Uh, all I know though is that I'm pretty sure it was this guy's like whoever it was their first time voice acting, and it kind of makes me feel bad for them because they really had a rough start with Gobbledygook on Firehaven specifically,
Yeah.
but it's just so poorly done, and like maybe there's a reason you haven't gotten to do a voice before.
I mean, hey, their track record isn't the worst because there's another Gobbledygook out there.
Yeah, and that one's pretty good.
So,
The problem,
Gobbledygook, not a
Gobbledygook,
bad monster, but definitely really, really, really bad on this island.
it retracts from the song. It tracks a lot from the song. It's recorded. It's like the worst part about it is in that thing I was talking about earlier, the Gobbledygook trailer. They had a perfect sound for Gobbledygook in the song because Gobbledygook had the thing was like, oh haha, it's copying all the monsters.
Yeah.
But this whole time it's copying dance. It was like gobbledygook, and it's like that would like I tested it out. I cut that out of the trailer. I put it in the song, and it sounded really, really good actually for Dan to go through do gobbledygook, and you're just going back and forth. It's like that's one of the classic MSM things, just having two monsters duet and go back and forth, and it really strengthens that first verse. And honestly, with Gobbledygook, one of the things about it is that its voice is really weird, but in a funny way. And like, if you're able to make it work, like if you did the Dandy Do thing, or if you did Fire Oasis Gobbledygook, it makes it go from like oof, that's not that well recorded, and that's not the best voice you could do, but it's endearing enough to where I can accept it, and I'm fine with that. That's cool. It's a decent way to give a mouse a personality. But they didn't do that, and they just made it do the same thing that it did in another island, and it just made it super uninteresting and just not worth your time.
Hmm.
Okay, but how about if the original plan that was probably going to happen is if Gobblegord went to Dawn of Fire?
Oh, yeah. Yo, that reminds me. Only good thing about Gobblegord on this island is its design.
Not even that, dog. It's so cluttered of nothing. I can't even tell where stuff ends and starts.
I like its design because it's really, like, it's wacky. It's kind of quirky.
It's quirky, but it's overdone.
It's overdone because of all of the shading and colors. If
Yeah.
they had a unified color scheme and not just every single color you think of when you think of fall, it would have been better.
Well, yeah, exactly, but it's not that. It's every color when you think of fall. It has no idea what it's supposed to be doing, and that just makes it super cluttered and messed up.
I like the idea they had with it.
I like the idea too, but see, okay,
Ah, dude, but okay.
ideas are important. It's like about okay, if it's fan content, ideas are more important than execution because you can appreciate that someone has a good idea. But when you're a professional company that's worth millions of dollars, I don't care how good your idea is. If you don't have good execution, you're doing a bad job.
Alright, fair enough. But that brings me to another thing that's really bad about Gobblegord, and I know it doesn't matter because it's supposed to be songs, but it's animation.
Oh,
Really bad.
Its animation is atrociously terrible.
it looks like an animated decoration.
Honestly, I really didn't want to give Gobblegord #1 worst for this because Dipsters deserve it so much more, but Gobblegord just like has that level of annoyingness and loudness and just
Yeah.
awfulness
If it was
that
mixed in better, it probably wouldn't be #1.
wasn't in the outro. If it was anywhere else in the song, so I could, so because the two most important parts of the song are the intro and the outro, because those are what gives you like the intro is what hooks you, and the outro is what gives you the lasting impressions. And like, the other parts are super important as well, but I'd want to at least try to focus on the intro and outro being good. And with both Potbelly and Gobbledygook, they really dropped the ball on this one.
Hmm.
Like the main issue is that they had a perfect outro before with Cybop. They had no reason to add anything, and they added something that just actively decreased the quality. It's like it's Gobbledygook is kind of like Wordle on Plant Island to an extent where the monster would be fine on its own, but it really, really, really brings down your ability to enjoy the full song with every single monster in it, which is why Gobbledygook is probably the worst on the island.
Hmm. Alright. I think that's enough on Gobbledygook. Now,
We talked
what's...
about everything.
Yeah, but now we gotta talk about the full song. Like, what's your opinion on Firehaven in general?
Mixing is not the thing they know how to do, I guess. If they mixed it better and if they used certain sounds better, it could have been a lot higher on tier lists.
Firehaven has had a steep downfall. It used to be great, and now it's decent at best.
Do you think it's honestly though, do you think it's probably like the best island we've done so far?
Yeah. What competition do you have?
Planet
Cold Island? Like Firehaven is the best island we've done, and also it would honestly be one of the best islands we will do for a long while. If it wasn't for Gobbledygook.
I don't know, man. People were
If you want to
asking
listen
for
to the
psychic.
song, just listen to the song, the version when it first came out. Like there's some mixing issues, but you can get over that. And the song, honestly, like things like the Potbelly, you can end up ignoring that because it's Cybop. The mixing issues like causes some trouble sometimes, but doesn't cause. Sometimes it saves you because Kana is super loud, but at least Cybop covers up Potbelly in the outro.
Yeah.
It's trade off. So genuinely, like with most of these islands, it's not okay. With a lot of these islands, at their full song, there's some issues, But you can listen to the full song and be somewhat satisfied with it. But with the addition of Gobbledygook, I don't think that's possible anymore.
Unless you go into your game and like turn it down to 10%.
Or just no, it's better to just mute it completely. Because even if it's quiet, it still isn't an outro song. It doesn't work at all.
Touche. I think I'll give you that one. Yeah. So, what do you think is the best monster on Firehaven?
Google.
Flugel.
Alright.
Legal.
Alright. That's a pretty unanimous Flugel. I honestly, from the way you were talking earlier, I thought you were going to pick Cybop.
I
it's-
agree on this island, but you know, you can't. Flugel is one of those monsters where it's literally impossible to beat. It'd be like, oh yeah, hey guys, what do you think is better? Poke on Woblin Island or Vamp on Celestial Island?
Ah,
What's better? Okay, guys, I got it. This is a really important question. What do you think is better, Skaratar on Starhand, or or Gobbledygook on Firehaven?
Dude,
a
Firehaven,
it's a
Gobbledygook.
very
Cause
difficult.
I don't even have. I couldn't come up with a
You
reason that was
couldn't
funny
come
enough.
up with a single reason.
I don't like I don't like all that background noise. Like, come on, you could have recorded it without being outside in the wind.
Okay, alright. I think there's something really, really not good, but also really good at the same time about Firehaven. And that is, there are some good things, but for an overwhelming general, it's a bad thing. And because we kind of had nothing to talk about, I feel like it's a good thing to discuss a little further about the idea behind Firehaven in general and how it put in motion a series of really not good rushed ideas, and then it forced them to abandon the idea and then just go to magicals, and it also kind of left on a fire in the dust.
Well, okay. Well, see, that's a big complicated thing. It's hard to pinpoint a thing with it. So here's how I like to think of it. With Firehaven is honestly, I think, actually a great idea because I don't think they were planning on updating Dawn of Fire either way. So I'm cool with getting these cool monsters a second chance. And if you ignore Gobbledygook, Firehaven perfectly sounds like what it's supposed to be. It sounds like a celebration, a party that to celebrate fire monsters finally coming back after years of being missing. You know, it does its job perfectly. And I think that the idea I don't think they ever planned to do 10 magical islands. I mean 10 fire islands. They just wanted us to think that was their plan so that no one ever expects the magical islands. And then another thing with it is that it makes sense because they perfectly set it up so that every single Dawn of Fire, single, double, and triple element are gonna all be able to return, and then every single here, all of them are gonna return. But here's another thing: think about every single MSM1 double element. Every single one of them comes back one single time in this grand plan of all of the magic clowns, given that the next ones are going to be Thrumble and Sootha. It literally works out perfectly. You can tell they planned this out from a long time. So I don't think this is any abandoning ship, but it was just really clever misdirection.
I
Being
didn't think
said, they
about it
did
that way.
not choose the best. That being said, I don't think they chose the best path to do that with because Firehaven was a given, but Fire Oasis they really had a lot of better choices and they could have just reworked the magical islands to use the other monsters.
It angers me that out of all of the amazing quads of fire monsters, we got Tring and Snazer when we could have gotten like
I could have forgiven.
Bisonorous.
Okay, I can forgive Tring, but I do agree that Bisonorous would have been the best play. But at the same time, Bisonorous's island is super unbalanced. So probably the best play would have actually been to just have it be Tring and then Krulby.
Yeah, we could have had Krabby. Bro, I can't wait until we are able to talk about a lot of the fire monsters.
If they did Tring and Krulby and then changed up what monsters are on the magical islands, I think that could have been the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Even then, I haven't done the math. For all I know, this was the only outcome that perfectly worked out in all the ways they intend. So we'll never really know until everything's out. But I do think that execution-wise, there is no missteps that were taken with these islands besides Gobbledygourd. Everything, I think, all of this it's so clearly planned out, and it's a perfect misdirection to get just hit us with those reveals that no one expects at all. Like no one could the magical islands are the heart of original MSM back in 2016, which everyone calls the golden age, because back then, that was the time when the famous phrase that has been coined, just expect the unexpected in MSM. That was the peak of that. Like literally anything that was coming out 2016 and before, you could not call it coming out. It just came out. You're like, bro, what? Where did that come from? I wasn't expecting that. And then the magical islands are 10 times more unexpected than everything from the, like all of MSM before the magical islands combined. Nothing that in all of those combined was anywhere close to as unexpected as the magical islands.
I remember that one kind of purgatory phase between Fire Oasis and Psychic Island when the community was just so burnt out because they were expecting the long haul of 8 more Fire Islands.
That would take 5 years to release.
And we were just it was a really low point morale-wise.
Yeah. Although it was pretty high compared to 2018.
Well.
See, with Psychic Island, personal opinion on the song itself aside, just the Psychic Island's trailer will probably always be one of my favorite trailers in all of MSM history, because it just gets you so hyped to just see all these random new monsters unexpectedly appear.
Yeah, that's true. If only Firehaven had something like that.
Well, to be fair, with Firehaven, it was it was a great idea and it was a great reveal, and also it confirmed theories of mine that I've been having for years and years about how Dawn of Fire worked and where the monsters went. I've always had the theory that they went in the volcano, and to see those theories be confirmed is a really good feeling, just to see a theory you've had for years and years just be 100% confirmed. And then another thing with it all is that at the same time, it was predictable because a week before Firehaven came out, I just put together the pieces and perfectly predicted exactly what Firehaven would be. So it's a double-edged sword.
I don't really think there's anything left to talk about.
We gotta rate the things from 1 to 10.
This is gonna be a hard one, actually, honestly.
Rating the whole island from 1 to 10?
Yes.
5.
6.
I want to go high, but because of Gobbledygourd, I don't think I can go higher than a 5. But that's giving it something. I wanted to give it a 4, but I'm just giving it the benefit of the doubt just because of everything before Gobbledygourd. Gobbledygourd is a hard pusher. What did you say, Pommy? Sorry.
5, I guess.
5?
Kind of 6.
What was the bed's vote?
5.
Alright.
21.
So it's
So that's 5.25.
5.25? Well, that definitely edges it above the other ones.
Yeah, obviously. What did you expect?
I don't really know how to end this one.
Here's how we end this one. Gobbledygourd is fucking
Gobbly.
Gobbledygourd is fucking